you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My goodness, government should obviously recognize this. Get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So it is support that is needed. And once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Inside Nigeria, the last one for the week. My name is Bode. Everybody, welcome on board. I have with me, as usual, Winifred Obebo.
Good morning, viewers, and good morning, Bode.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure, my pleasure, to be on the set today of Inside Nigeria.
Yeah, and of course, today we have potpourri of stories to talk about Electoral Act Amendment Bill, as sent by the President. Well,
And just 16 days to go.
yes,
But I did say it on this program that this one that
the
last
President
week.
is foot dragging.
Exactly. You know, I said it. I said if he doesn't sign that this week or last week, was it last week? I said you forget it's not going to sign. And of course, my prediction is coming to pass.
Well, there are rumors since yesterday that he might have, returned the bill back to the National Assembly. But I don't think there is any official
Statement
to that effect. And the President, of course, is not even around. He's in Dubai for Expo 2020. Well, we expect experts to talk to us on various issues. And of course, the politics in Osun State. Well, wait for that time to dissect the papers one after the other. Now, as usual, we're starting with Nigeria's first independent Friday newspaper, the Leadership Friday. On the front page of Leadership this morning, 16 days to go. Lawmakers ready to override President Muhammadu Buhari's veto on electoral bill. 16 days to go. Lawmakers ready to override President Muhammadu Buhari's veto on electoral bill. President Nas lacks courage to overrule the president, according to Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. And of course, civil society organization group demand president's assent to the bill. Like you said, when will the president assent the bill? Now he has 16 days to go.
Yes, because I drew a comparison between the PIB, which is now PIE.
Yes.
The president came back from an overseas trip, and during the weekend,
Signed
he
it.
signed it. And on Monday, we were told that he worked during the weekend to assent to the bill. And I was like, this one that the president is full dragging on signing the electoral bill, I don't think he's going to sign it. And of course, my petitions are coming to pass. Well, the issues are not are obvious because there have been this breakbacks over
Exactly.
the direct primaries.
Or indirect primary. Governors and National Assembly members are currently at loggerhead. Well, there are rumors, like I said earlier, that the president have rejected the bill and sent it back to the National Assembly, or it remains rumor. The National Assembly has not admitted anything like that, and the presidency also has not said anything to that effect. But Winifred, 16 days is a long time.
Still have about 2 weeks.
It's a long time for the president to look at it, digest it, and assent it. In fact, he may even do that on the last day
We sincerely hope so.
of the time frame.
We sincerely hope so.
Because it's allowed.
We were told that he wrote to INEC to advise him on the way forward concerning the bill. So we are hoping that maybe INEC will be able to advise him appropriately on what to do.
Look at the substance of the story that lawmakers are ready to override him if after the deadline is unable to assent the bill. But Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers is saying, well, these National Assembly members don't have the ball.
I agree with Nyesom Wike. I agree with him.
Don't have the ball to actually override the president. So you also agree
Because they have said,
Wike.
yes, because these presidents have set precedents, even despite the outcry against borrowings of the federal government, but the NAS still goes ahead to approve foreign loans for the president. And they even said that they are ready to approve more when the need, if ever the need arises. So that's the present call of NAS that we have now. And just like what Wike, governor of Rivers State, Mr. Wike said, I succumb. I support.
All right. Well, it's a matter of time for us to see whether the National Assembly members will be able to override the president or not. It's a matter of time.
Yes.
So, like the saying goes, time shall tell. All right, Winifred, we need to move away to our sister publication, the National Economy.
Yes. The National Economy is talking about business. It says contraband on the menu. Why 70% tariffs haven't slowed Nigeria's rice imports? Contraband on the menu. Why 70% tariffs haven't slowed Nigeria's rice imports? That is on the national economy.
Well, tariff hike, 70% tariff on importation, and has not slowed down Nigeria's rice
Remember, there
importation.
was a story recently that Republic of Benin,
Benin, okay.
Cotonou,
Yes,
yeah,
Benin.
imported about how many billions tons of rice waiting, of course, it's waiting to be smuggled to the country.
Yeah, because they make money
Yes.
from bringing these things to Nigeria. But then, in order to actually help our own rice farmers, we have millions of rice farmers. Is it the Sokoto Rima Basin, the Ebonyi, and even
Debbie,
exactly,
we
Debbie
had
rice.
this,
So if we actually allow
Lagos and Debbie collaboration
to
years
do,
ago,
what's the name of that rice?
rice lake,
Lake rice, Lagos
what has
and
come
Kebbi.
out of it?
In fact, I've not been seeing the rice in the last couple of years too. I've not seen the rice. In fact, after the first time it was unveiled, I don't think I've seen the rice again. But then, I think it's normal that we don't tolerate this, so that the local rice farmers can make money from their sweat.
Given the opportunity to grow.
But then, the local one is becoming unaffordable.
And apart from that, there's need for them to also process it so well that they'll not be stolen. Like most of us now that said, okay, let's patronize them.
People still complain about the product. And you know why? There is no competition. I think when the foreign one is allowed to come in, then the local people will also say, oh, we need to measure up to standard so that we can sell our own over the foreign one.
That's just the problem we are having.
All right. Contraband on the menu, why 70% tariffs haven't slowed down rice imports. And I think maybe the custom service is also another factor. Probably they take bribe. I know they have a lot of battle with people in Ogun State. In fact, there is a story recently that about 3 custom officers were murdered by rice smugglers. And even in my own Oyo State, custom officers are having a serious battle with rice smugglers. Is sharing, all these Oyo North corridor. You understand? So I don't know whether we can categorize them as another factor. Maybe they take bribe. That's why, despite the 70% tariff, importation is still on the high rise. Because 70% should have discouraged rice importation and encourage us to grow the local rice.
Many people anyway, the local rice though is there, Nigerians are patronizing it, but there's still that penchant for foreign rice is still higher as we speak.
Quality might be a reason. Quality. And it's high time the local rice farmers up their game. Winifred, we have a special publication coming up in leadership for rice farmers to showcase their product. And I think we have the right ones who are already keying into leadership publication, which is coming up sometime this month, anytime, any moment from now.
That's a good one. At least many Nigerians will be in the know of how many rice farmers we have, and it will also afford them the opportunity to also make their choice when they go to the market. They know what to purchase.
Exactly.
Talking about rice publication, we also have a level publication coming out this weekend.
Oh, okay.
The
The bi-weekly general interest and lifestyle magazine. So when you pick a copy of leadership on Sunday, the next 3 days, make sure you have your level complement. In fact, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue different stories. We'll be back shortly.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Okay, welcome back.
All right, welcome back. It's still inside Nigeria for this Friday morning, December 3, 2021. Of course, joining on now is Barrister Omar Choko Alasan Idoko, a legal practitioner based in Abuja. Barrister, good morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
All right, you'll be helping us to dissect the next story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. On the front page of the Nation this morning, pressure on President Muhammadu Buhari to reject Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Pressure on President Buhari to reject Electoral Amendment Bill. INEC yet to act on Buhari's request. Governors insist on indirect primary. December 19 deadline for President to sign. CSOs assent will aid electoral reforms. Winifred, you know, this is a different angle from what we saw earlier on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. But Barrister, let me also show you the front page of Leadership newspaper so that you can see the perspective. I don't know.
Leadership newspaper. Okay.
You can see what we reported earlier this morning on the front page of Leadership. 16 days to go. Lawmakers ready to override President Muhammadu Buhari's veto on electoral bill. But Governor of Rivers State, Yeson Wike, is saying the present National Assembly members lack courage to override the president. And CSOs are saying, CSOs are demanding the president's assent because, according to them, it will help the electoral process, as we saw on the front page of the Nation. So, what is your take? 16 days to go, the president has not assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021.
The assent of the president is a special prerogative on the president as a person. And that prerogative can only be expressly exercised by the president himself. But at this stage, I would think I am of the express opinion that every political player behind either the assent or the non-assent of this very act, it's quite premature to preempt, because the express time provided for the president to assent on the said act is still very much in life.
And I told you 16 days is a long time.
Yes, it's quite premature for anybody to preempt the president to say he may not sign or he will sign on it. But perhaps if the president does fail to assent to the act as being passed by the National Assembly, it borders more on morality on him than any other that can be brought to bear. Because morally speaking, he wouldn't be the first president that would have refused to give an assent to an act of the National Assembly. But the National Assembly being a collection of group of Nigerians who are representing the interest of group of Nigerians, in their own wisdom have come up with the provisions as contained in the act, and it is only duty bound for any president, whether that of the sitting president or past presidents, to have given their assent to such national assignment or to such national laws, because it will better the effect of the electoral process that is to come. But just like the last previous 2019 election, there was an electoral act of this nature, which the president expressly refused to give his assent. And the National Assembly, in turn, did not override the president, as the case will be.
Yeah, Barrister, let me cut you at that point. You know, yes, in the build-up to the 2019 general election, the president actually said he was not going to sign the electoral bill at that time because of proximity, closeness to the election period. Now, I believe the National Assembly believed that reason as cogent. But do you believe that kind of scenario can still play out in this instance?
It can still play out. The failure of the president to have assented to the last electoral act as regards to the time lag of saying it is too short or too close to the time of the election was most immaterial.
Even at that time?
Even at that time.
So what could be the reason now for him not to sign?
The reason cannot be far-fetched from political interest.
Okay.
Whether he was a key player to the said election, but now he's not a key player because he wouldn't be contesting the election. But irrespective of the fact whether he will be contesting or not contesting to the election, his party's interest does and will definitely supersede that of the national interest. Certainly, we cannot dispute that. So even at this stage, with the sufficient time from now till the period of election, the president will still, if he will not, likely not sign. So that's why I said it all boils down to morality and posterity that will stand to judge him. But the truth of the matter is, for anybody who means well as a president to the nation, the assent to an electoral act or any other act, as the case may be, should not be withheld. But there is every likelihood that if the president does mean well to say he wants a better electoral system for the country, then he would. But if he doesn't and he refuses to give his assent, the National Assembly will still not override him in that regard.
So Governor Wike is right to say this National Assembly lack the courage to do that.
Certainly they wouldn't. If the president will fail to assent, they wouldn't override him.
Wow. Are we
okay, let me also take you back. Many people are also saying that President Muhammad Buhari, being the beneficiary of the last electoral act amended under Jonathan, is now becoming a stumbling block to having a robust electoral act.
Certainly.
So what is your take?
I would agree with that submission in the sense that the president had not come up to show in terms of character or by any measure to prove to any Nigerian that he wants to take a step further in taking our electoral system better than how he had met it. If the system wasn't good enough, he wouldn't have been a beneficiary of the office
Yes.
today. But on his own part, he has contributed nothing other than the way he had come to meet it. And there is every likelihood that if he fails to do this, then it goes to put a seal on it that he is not out to improve the system better than how he has met it.
So what is the implication of all this for our electoral system? Are we in for another season of rancorous election, election without credibility or not?
Sure. His failure to give his assent to this act will mean that it does not mean well, and certainly the rancors, the infighting, and the purification of court cases that surround our electoral system will still remain abound the way it is obtainable today. Because by the grace of God, this current act that is before him on his table will go a lot to improve party primaries and election results, manipulations, and the rest of them. And by the grace of God, we pray, whilst he still has about 2 weeks to give that assent, that the chief law officer, the Attorney General of Federation, Abubakar Malemi, and a couple of other advisors, political advisors, will prevail on him to do the needful, to say he should just give this as a parting gift to the nation in giving his assent for the fact that he has no personal stake of contesting this current election. He's duty bound to do what is needed, because a lot of taxpayers' money has gone in to bring this work into place to the extent to which it has been brought. A lot of civil society organization group, public hearing, conferences, papers have been submitted to this. And I think the wisdom of the entire members of the National Assembly cannot be said to say it is inferior than his own wisdom. It is their duty as lawmakers to improve and to work on the lapses of the failure of the past electoral law, and this improvement should be upheld by this current government.
All right, Barrister, finally, the existing Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which we are still using, the new amendment to it now is one indirect primary that is causing this debate. I know a lot of people are for it, describing it as democratic. Then the issue of electronic transmission of election results is another innovation added to the existing law. So in your own view, what are the new innovative or democratic ingredients that has been added to the existing electoral act that you think is more, they make it more necessary for the president to assent the bill?
My observation as regards to the two principal provisions which you've talked about,
Yes.
which borders on the option A4,
Okay.
direct primary system, as well as the other which borders on transmission of results. The benefit of the direct primaries will save the cost of litigating party primary results.
Who is the rightful winner of the primary?
Of the primaries of any election whatsoever. Because many a times we've come to observe that our courts have been clouded with so many cases filtered around by contestants to say party leadership change candidates at will. But the direct primary will go to put a lot of sanity as regards to anything that borders on primaries. Then in Imo State, during the last election, we were also mindful of the case wherein results were being, even in this current Anambra State, there has been contention that some returning officers will say results were not being signed by them, alterations and all of that. If the current provisions can be upheld by the electoral transmission, it puts paid to the whosoever comes to the polling unit, cast his own vote, is being registered into the database. So the rancor of alteration of results, manipulation, figures counted, discounted, wouldn't be there. And it's a welcome development. It will do a whole lot of good to our electoral system, no doubt. That can never be disputed.
Many thanks to you, Barrister Omachukwu Alhassan Idoko, for creating time to join us this morning on Inside Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope to see you more when you need a rest.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm most grateful.
All right. Barrister Omachukwu Alhassan Idoko is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst and legal practitioner. He has been speaking on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021, to be or not to be. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the newspaper review segment.
Thank For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Why will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much the government are picking from victims.
My thing is, government should I think all these stakeholders get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once again, the support your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Well, welcome back. It's Inside Nigeria for this Friday morning. Winifred, for want of time, we have one more newspaper.
Yes.
And so tell us what we have on the front page of the blueprint.
Blueprint newspaper. That's the last paper on our name for review this morning. And it says, ex-Deputy Speaker Lasson opens up. APC didn't win Osun 2018 Guba election. Ex-Deputy Speaker Lasson opens up. APC didn't win Osun 2018 Guba election. Says Omo Agege compensated for dirty job. He's hallucinating, talking bad trash. APC. And Omo Agege says, I won't dignify Lasson with response. That is all.
Well, ex-Deputy Speaker in the 8th House of Representatives, Yusuf Lasson, who is also an aspirant in the Osun 2022 governorship election, is said to have opened up that the APC did not win the 2018 governorship election in Osun State, which some persons believe it was won by the then PDP governorship candidate, Senator Nuruddin Ademola Adeleke, popularly known as Dancing Senator. Well, I don't know where. Okay, to actually discuss this story now, we are being joined by a political analyst and member of the People's Democratic Party in Ekiti State, Larry Olayinka. Good morning, Mr. Olayinka.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. How is your day going?
It's going well.
Okay, I can see you in a car, in a moving car.
I'm telling you, I had to park. When I saw your message, I had to park so that I can talk to you.
This is very, very important, Mr. Olayinka. And interest of your party is also at stake. So I don't know. I know maybe it has been overtaken by time already because another election is by the corner. So you cannot reclaim it again. And it has been decided by the Supreme Court already. But for posterity, we need to know the truth. So Yusuf Lasson, a chieftain of the APC, I just opened a Pandora's box. What is your take?
Well, the demand did not say what Nigerians were not aware of. Nigerians knew how that election was rigged. Nigeria knew how 1,000 votes belonging to PDP from Ayedade local government suddenly developed wings and just went away like that. So Nigerians saw everything. Whether it is coming from the former deputy speaker like Lasun Yusuf, or is coming from even the man that is holding that is governing Osun State knows that he was rigged to office. So it's not telling us. And let me also say this expressly: Supreme Court judgment on that Osun election was not on whether the election was rigged or not. The judgment on that election was the judgment of the election petition tribunal that ruled clearly that PDP won the election. Subsequent judgments were based on technicality, that the person that one of the tribunal member was not present in one of the sittings. It's just like somebody saying that, oh, one of the lecturers in your school did not come to class once, and because of that, you should not be awarded distinction. So it was not because the Supreme Court did not say the election was not rigged. The Supreme Court only said that the judgment that one of the tribunal justices was not present at just one of the sittings, and because of that, the judgment of the tribunal could not hold.
Mr. Lainka?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so now, like I said, the Osun 2018 governorship election has come and gone already, because the 2022 election is already by the corner. I know you are a member of PDP in Ekiti State, but then Ekiti is close to Osun. Are you aware of the preparedness of the Osun PDP as to the 2022 governorship election?
You see, let me also say this: both Ekiti and Osun election of 2018 were massively rigged by the APC. The two elections were rigged, and they know. Governor Fayemi of Ekiti State know how he got into office. I've challenged him many times that he should hold Holy Bible to his chest and swear that, oh, that election, I won it free, fair, and sincere with all sincerity. He should swear that everything that he has should be sustained if indeed he won the election. He has not been able to do that, and I'm reminding him of that challenge now. If he should put a Bible to his heart, to his chest, and swear that he actually won that election. He did not win. Oyetola did not win in Osun, but we know that. We just hope that next year election will express the will of the people of Ekiti. If you go to Ekiti, you will see what is happening. Because when you impose yourself on the people, you are not likely to be able to do well. If you go to Osun, you see what is happening there, because those two people were imposed on the people. And PDP in Ekiti is getting set. In Osun too, we are getting set, and we are hopeful that wrong that they did to the people, because the wrong was not done to PDP. It was done to the people of Ekiti and the people of Osun, and we hope that this time around, INEC and other agencies of federal government now involved in election will allow the will of the people of Ekiti State and Osun State to prevail.
All right, Mr. Lainka, let's look, because of time, let's look at the two candidates in the forthcoming 2022 Osun and Ekiti governorship election. I know there is Bisi Kolawole in Ekiti State. Then Ademola Adeleke is also warming up to get the PDP ticket in Osun State. I don't know other aspirants in your party in both states, but I've seen both Bisi Kolawole and Ademola Adeleke warming up to actually. Okay. So Tell us
in
the pedigree.
in the PDP presently, I think we have about we should have like 12 aspirants in PDP
already
in the state. Yes, we have 12 because you cannot be called an aspirant unless you have obtained form from the party and unless you have been screened and cleared by the party. I'm aware that we should have like 12 aspirants now. In Osun, I think I'm not aware anyone have obtained form, but I'm aware that Senator Demola Adeleke is interested. I'm also aware of one Mr. Akaki Ogumbi and one or two or three other people. So until it is decided as to who the candidate of the party in Ekiti and Osun should be, that's when we can begin to talk about that. But in Ekiti, we on our side, we are supporting Bisi Kolawole to be the party candidate, and we are hopeful that with the kind of work we have done, with the kind of support that we have from the party, from the people, by January, it will emerge the candidate, and hopefully, it will also emerge governor of the state.
All right, Mr. Olainka, finally, you have the sentiment that there was manipulation in the Ekiti 2018 election. There was manipulation against the PDP in the Osun 2018 election. But one thing that will take care of these manipulations is good extant laws and a good electoral act and INEC guidelines and the rest of them. 16 days to the end of the deadline for the president to sign the new electoral act. The president is not disposed to sign in the 16 days to the end of the deadline. What is your take? Do you think the president will sign the new electoral act amendment or not? We have to go with the existing 2010 electoral act.
Well, is it the like? I'm aware that there are issues that the president wants cleared. And the issue majorly is the issue of direct. I mean, there's the issue of insertion of direct primary clause in the electoral act. And I'm aware that I've read in the media that the president has asked INEC to advise on it, the Attorney General to also advise on it, because that is the issue of direct primary is a new like a new electoral situation that Nigeria has been put into. And if you are saying INEC should be involved in the monitoring, the one we had before was INEC may monitor, but this one it is saying INEC shall monitor, which has made that monitoring mandatory. So it means that the president is also trying to look at the financial implications, security implications, and all that. So I don't think I for one, if not because of I think the only controversy on that electoral act is that issue of direct primary, and that is what I believe should be delaying the president signing it. Every other issues I think were agreed upon by all the stakeholders, apart from the issue of direct primary. And if you ask me as a person, I will tell you that there was no reason the National Assembly should have included that issue of direct primary in the electoral act. The Supreme Court has made it so clear that political parties has right to run their own affairs. They have their own rules. You cannot interfere in the running of political parties like an association. You subscribe to that association and you subscribe to their rules. If they have their rules, until a party picks a candidate, that is when that candidate becomes the instrument, the property of INEC. Not until, and the party can decide to say, oh, we are going to call family meetings and just say consensus and give. You cannot say, okay, if you are saying direct primary for presidential election, for instance, it means that if, let's say, 10 political parties are contesting the presidential election, it means that INEC will have to conduct 10 elections before the general election, because it's like conducting general elections. So it means INEC we have to expend resources for general election like 11 times. It will be too expensive. Then look at the security implication. Then again, how do you determine the people who are even coming to vote in the election? Which political parties in Nigeria now do you know that have foolproof membership register. You don't have it. You don't go into an election when you don't even know the number of people that are coming to vote. So those are the issues, and I believe that beyond sentiment that made the National Assembly to include that direct primary, I believe that common sense will prevail. There's no reason that thing should have been included in that electoral act, and that I believe is the reason we are stuck now. And I hope that there a way will be found around it, so that the electoral act, as it should be, will be signed.
Mr. Olayinka, you raised very silent. We are supposed to allow you to go, but you raised very, very silent issues, talking about party register. Now, the arguments you just canvassed, for me, I mean, would you say this is responsible? This was responsible for what in Anambra election, where the APC governorship candidate, Andy Uba, got over 200,000 votes at the primary election, but secured less than 50,000 votes at the main election.
It's not only in Anambra. In 2019, Governor Ganduje was elected as APC candidate with about 2.9 million votes. Party members saying that 2.9 million party APC members in Kano voted for Ganduje. How many votes did Ganduje get during the general election? He struggled to have a little above 1 million votes. So what happened to that about 1.9 million APC members that they said voted for him during the primary? In Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu was purportedly elected by about 970,000 APC members in Lagos. Governor Ambode, who came second, had about 50,000 votes, meaning that about 1 million APC members voted in that election then. But during the general election, Governor Sanwo-Olu had a little about 700,000 votes. So what happened to that over 300,000 APC members that vote? The same thing with Anambra. So it goes to tell you that even the direct primary that people are talking about is more prone to manipulation than indirect primary. Because in direct primary, you already know those who are coming to vote. Direct, you don't know.
Okay. So you speak for former governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Ayodele Fayose. So yeah. Where does this stand in 2023 calculations, political calculations?
You said what?
Where does this stand?
Where is that?
I say you speak for former governor of Ekiti State.
Where does it stand as to what? I don't get.
Where does it belong
in the 2023 calculations?
2023
well, it belongs to PDP and it belongs to whatever decision PDP chooses to make.
All right, sir. Many thanks to you, Mr. Lere Olayinka, spokesperson of former governor Ayodele Fayose and PDP chieftain in Ekiti State. Thank you for creating time to join us this morning on Inside Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you so much. We have been speaking to
Mr. Have a wonderful
Democratic Party. Well, he said a lot, and I like his argument about the direct and indirect primary. And I think this should be the right argument.
Amedebe said INEC shall not even. So that means
maybe these are the issues when the president is understudying or studying before he ascends the bill.
Honestly, I saw his argument. I think I'm swayed by his argument. That's direct primaries.
Very, very nice, interesting discussion.
It is just the first one.
Winifred, it's time to go. Thank you, viewers, for being with us from the hours of 10 to this moment. Make it with us on Monday for a fresh edition of Inside Nigeria. From I am Winifred.
Have a beautiful with a wonderful weekend. And don't forget, stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble. My name is Badibo. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.